We are disappointed that he is dead and that we can't actually talk to him.
Now to a major development in the brutal murder of a missionary couple with ties to West Michigan. Zeeland resident Jason Allen and his fiancée Lindsay Cutshall were found murdered on a remote Northern California beach in the summer of 2004, still zipped up in their sleeping bags. Today we are learning a person of interest in that case, a man known for years as the Cookie Burglar, Joseph Burgess, was shot and killed in a shootout with police. A New Mexico deputy also died in that gunfight. Tonight we're going to take a look at the man who eluded police for years and other crimes he is tied to. But we're going to begin with 24-hour News 8's Brett Thomas, who's been following this story since it broke back in 2004. He is in the newsroom right now with Brian Sterling. Brian?
Yeah, Susan, Brett in fact flew out to Northern California in the days after the murders, and he stayed around for us this afternoon to report on this story. The police in California calling him not a suspect, a person of interest, but certainly he fits the suspect profile almost to a T.
Yeah, he fits that MO that they were looking for from day one when we were out in California looking to investigate this story. They said they were looking for a drifter. That's exactly what this guy was. The problem here, though, is that the answers that Jason Allen and Lindsay Cutshall's parents may have been looking for might have died in the mountains of New Mexico. They weren't there to catch a killer, just to nab a man only known as the Cookie Bandit, a person who was breaking into cabins to steal supplies. A burglar, not a murderer. But a surveillance mission in the mountains of New Mexico turned into a gunfight. In the end, a deputy and an unknown man lay dead. That man, police found as they investigated the scene, a suspect in the murders of Jason Allen and Lindsay Cutshall. A 5-year mystery perhaps solved. 62-year-old Joseph Burgess, a survivalist, a drifter, a man who fit the MO police had developed half a decade ago. They had reason to believe he could have done it. But was he ever in Northern California? There's no way to tell. On August 18, 2004, Jason and Lindsay were shot in their sleep as they camped beneath the stars. It was on this stretch of sand known as Fishhead Beach that 2 shots were fired, and 2 Christian counselors who were wed were sentenced to death by someone for some unknown reason, the mystery perplexing investigators for all that time. Allen's parents marking each anniversary without resolution, but even if this is the man who took their son's life, the biggest question may never be resolved.
Even if they do determine that it was him, that's only half the mystery, because now that he's dead, we may never know exactly why he would have chosen to kill our children.
Bob and Dolores are holding back hope, still skeptical. They've been down this road before. Will there be evidence for a definitive link? Where's that rifle police say the killer used? It wasn't with Burgess. Will there be a DNA match? Evidence was found at the crime scene in California, but nobody knows for sure if it came from the person who pulled the trigger. There have been promising leads before, and there have been many hopes dashed. Now 2 families wait as investigators begin a daunting task.
Take us through some of those other promising leads. I recall a diary that was found with some ominous sketching in it. They released the evidence at one point in time looking for the particular gun. Take us through some of the developments over the years.
Well, almost immediately, they were looking for a suspect who was from Wisconsin. He was a 21-year-old. He was a drifter. He fit kind of the MO. He was in Jenner, California. They thought that was the guy. They found him. They questioned him. Wasn't it? Didn't pan out. As far as that book you're talking about, at the top of those hills there where you go down to the beach, there's a sign-in book where you can just sign in and say, you know, I've been here before. They had just had some writings in there like I am Spider-Man and some other writings that were kind of ominous, or some pictures that were drawn in there. They wanted to know who had drawn those pictures. We don't know if they ever found those people or not. And down on the beach, there are drawings down there that are very scary looking, of skeletons and devil heads and that sort of thing. They were looking for people the person who put those on there. They thought maybe that could be the person who did it. Overall, there have been all sorts of leads. There have been suspects that have come and gone. There have been people who have wanted to take revenge on a friend or a boyfriend or a husband by saying that they did it, and so police investigate that. The Allen family gets phone calls, relatively often of possibilities that are going on, but those don't pan out. They're now going to go out to California for the anniversary. They're going to be headed that way as well.
All right, Brett, thank you. Fascinating development, regardless, and we appreciate you sticking around today.
One of those stories that you don't want to miss out on, one that you will never forget. It's burned in your memory.
Absolutely. Brett Thomas reporting for us tonight. Susan.